The Australian Army lost to birds? An entire military unit, armed with heavy machine guns and thousands of rounds of ammunition, was deployed to wage war. Their enemy? Not a rebel army or a foreign power, but a massive flock of flightless birds. It sounds like a complete joke, something plucked from a fever dream, but the Australian government actually declared war on emus. And the most unbelievable part? The birds actually won. How does a modern military lose a combat operation to a group of giant, feathered animals? In 1932, Western Australia was facing a crisis. 20,000 emus were migrating into wheat fields, destroying crops and fences with relentless efficiency. This wasn't just a nuisance. It was an economic disaster for struggling veteran farmers. The response from the government was nothing short of extraordinary. They didn't send pest control. They sent the 7th Heavy Battery of the Royal Australian Artillery. These soldiers arrived equipped with Lewis machine guns and 10,000 rounds of ammunition. On paper, this should have been a decisive victory. The weight of modern firepower against a biological target seemed like an absolute certainty. There was no way a group of birds could withstand the concentrated lead of a military-grade machine gun deployment. The math simply didn't add up. Thousands of bullets were spent, yet the emu population remained largely intact. It was a ballistic nightmare. Every time the soldiers attempted to engage, the birds seemed to vanish or disperse with impossible speed. Despite the heavy firepower, the casualty count among the emus was shockingly low. Skeptics might argue that the soldiers were simply incompetent, but the sheer volume of ammunition expended suggests a much more profound failure of technology. The machine guns were designed to mow down infantry in formation, not to track a highly mobile, decentralized target that could split into small groups at a moment's notice. The birds were effectively using guerrilla tactics against a heavy-duty weapon. This wasn't just a local legend. This was a documented military operation. Official reports from the era detail the deployment and the subsequent retreat. Major GPW Meredith, the commander of the operation, provided accounts that sounded more like a frustrated field report than a victory celebration. He noted that even when large numbers of birds were hit, they often continued to run, seemingly impervious to the damage. The records show that while some emus were killed, the cost in ammunition and effort was astronomical compared to the results. The Australian press picked up on the absurdity, highlighting the humiliation of a modern force being outmaneuvered by birds. The official tally of dead emus simply couldn't justify the massive expenditure of military resources. If you look closely at the battle, the emus actually displayed incredible survival instincts. They didn't just run, they organized. They developed a rudimentary command structure where a few sentinel birds would stand guard while the rest of the flock fed. When the machine guns opened fire, these sentinels would alert the group, and the flock would scatter in every direction, making a concentrated attack impossible. The soldiers found themselves chasing shadows across the vast Australian outback. The sheer speed and agility of the emus, combined with their ability to absorb multiple non-lethal hits, rendered the Lewis guns almost useless. Eventually, the military was forced to withdraw, leaving the birds in control of the wheat fields. It was a tactical victory for nature. The Great Emu War serves as a profound, albeit hilarious, reminder of human hubris. We often believe that technology and superior firepower can bend nature to our will. We approach ecological problems with a mindset of conquest rather than coexistence. But the emus proved that nature operates by its own rules, often possessing a resilience and adaptability that our most advanced weapons simply cannot match. This event wasn't just a failed military operation. It was a lesson in humility. It teaches us that when we attempt to use brute force to solve complex biological realities, we are often destined to fail. The birds didn't need a strategy. They just needed to be themselves, and in doing so, they defeated an empire. The Great Emu War remains one of history's most absurd, yet humbling truths. It reminds us that nature always has the final word. If this unbelievable story surprised you, there are many more incredible tales waiting to be told. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss one. If you want more videos like this, subscribe and follow Barely Believable. See you in the next one.